How is everyone doing today? How is everybody doing today, this evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're on the way to work or on the way home or in your bed, wherever you guys are? Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful day. Positivity is definitely key. Positivity is key. It can go a long way for you. Now, as you can tell from the title of this daily podcast episode, the way I'm coming at you guys with daily episodes, not even weekly, not once a month. I'm coming at you with new content every single day. Like, wow. Now, for those of you who are listening, and if you have no idea who Siannise is, she is a character on a UK show called Love Island that we all strongly disliked and has, changed dramatically, and the nation really want her to win. So this, change that we are seeing, the progression within her character, her as an individual, is something that I really want to analyze when it comes to this particular episode. Majority of us were definitely, well, I say majority, all of us basically, I would say, were not feeling Siannise at all. Nobody was. Her character, her demeanor, her personality, the way she carried herself, it was very snotty and just very rude for no reason. And how she spoke to people, including Naz, and Naz obviously liked her, and it came to a point where she just did not like him, but she also refuted the idea of the fact that she was giving mixed signals, even though she was, and she did struggle in the beginning. But the way she spoke to him, when she was trying to correct her name, it's Siannise, it's not this, just her tone was so degrading. It was just simply so rude that the nation really disliked her so much, and we wanted her to go as soon as possible, to the point where we were all calling her different names, instead of her main name, which seems to be a reoccurring pattern when it comes to Love Island seasons, when we don't like an individual. She had these bullying tendencies, and a lot of people might say, people were being rude to her, or the kind of trolls were slamming her, XYZ. But at the same time, it's like, when it comes to me personally, I will never be strongly irritated with somebody for no reason. I will never slam somebody for no reason. There has to be a reason. Every action has a reaction. It is basic physics. So her bullying tendencies and how she was very rude to people irritated me. Her actions caused a reaction, and I was genuinely very irritated with her. She was somebody who I strongly disliked, and somebody that, even though I disliked, I expressed in my early reviews that I did not want her to go, simply because she brings in that drama, she brings in that emotions when it comes to the audience and makes us reactive. Therefore, she is a valuable asset to the show. So even though I strongly disliked her, I never really wanted her to leave, and I expressed this in my early reviews. And of course, the producers, knowing this, wanted to keep her in as an individual. Now, where I feel that the progression in her character, the development changed in likeness when it comes to the audience, was when it came to another contestant who we did not like either. Her name was Rebecca. She came into the show as a bombshell to steal men and whatever, but she was playing around and being foolish and disrespectful. And although none of us really liked Siannise, she was the one who was being, disrespected when it comes to Rebecca. She did not have this. She spoke to Rebecca.
You handled it wrong. I understand why I got pissed off. You've done it to me twice, Rebecca, right? That's not my problem. I just think you're rude.
Gave us that drama that we really wanted because we were itching for it. We got it, but at the same time, we saw Siannise in a bit of a different light. We saw her in a light where she would stand up for herself when nobody else would. She would stand up to people when she felt like they were in the wrong, and she would be, very crystal clear with them and say it with her chest. That was when I first realized that maybe I'm beginning to like this girl, because I'm seeing something really nice and genuine here. And, she's just being herself. None of it's forced. In addition to that, I feel that in itself was a very pivotal moment for her, was when two new guys came in. They're both called Luke M and Luke T. And when it came to Luke T, she chose Siannise to go on a date with first, and also Wallace, another guy who had a very dry personality and ended up getting dumped from the show. Now, she liked Wallace and Luke T. She had to choose, and she ended up eventually choosing Luke T. It's the same Luke T that Rebecca liked, but obviously Rebecca and Siannise have their problems, and obviously Siannise, kind of got her ultimate revenge on Rebecca and chose Luke T, which I felt like was, just something that we also really wanted. And these two had a very weird, awkward connection. They both have very awkward personalities, quite funny, like literally memes for the internet, and they seem to be getting on very well, and they seem to be one of the only genuine couples when it came to the show. They were very, very genuine. There were very few of them because the majority of them seemed forced, but with Siannise, she gave us memes, she gave us emotions, she was very reactive, she was truthful to herself, she was genuine. Even though we disliked her, she was being herself, and she was not afraid to stand up for herself, and I absolutely love that. And her and Luke T developed this particular progression. They developed this kind of, positive affirmation for each other, and we were seeing it grow, blossom and bloom, and we loved it, and we were slowly falling for them because they just had this awkward weirdness that we just liked. Again, it was not forced, and when something doesn't come forced on a show that's getting controlled every other year, it's refreshing to us. It's really, really refreshing. And as time went on, their relationship got stronger and stronger, to the point where we were seeing a positive, better light from somebody. More happy she was, more gleeful, and she was just herself. And every time when something took place in the villa that we all thought was wrong and weird, she would also feel that, and she will stand up for these people. Like, for example, when Luke M was being rejected countlessly by other girls, she would be there to lift him up, which I really liked. She also saved Naz when Naz nearly got dumped, which we all really liked as well. And in addition to that, when it came to the whole situation with Shauna suddenly liking Luke M, and we all thought that was weird, she was one of the very few ones to be like, point that out as a weird, situation, which kind of again helps us to induce relatability when it comes to her as a character. She was literally speaking for us. We have the situation with Rebecca, which we didn't like her either.
Yeah, you're boring me to death.
Oh my god, Siannise, you can get annoying, it's not a problem.
You handled it wrong. I understand why I got pissed off. You've done it to me twice, Rebecca, right?
That's not
Do you know
my
what?
problem.
I just think you're rude.
And she stood up for herself. Then we have the Luke T situation, how that grew and grew and grew. Then we have whenever other situations took place where we as an audience didn't like, she would also dislike it and stand up and speak and raise her voice, which we really liked as well. So we're having so many small situations. Her narrative began to mold in a different manner, in a more positive manner, which we all really liked. And I feel like these were key assets when it comes to the development and the progression of Siannise Fudge. And if you'd asked me in the first 2 weeks if I thought she'd win the show, I'd be campaigning for this, literally I would definitely say no. But here we are, she's coming to the final. And another reason for me personally is that when she gets emotional, like Casa Amor, that was a really big situation. Now one could argue if girls liked Luke T, it could be a different situation. However, they didn't. He came back single, and when he came back, she started crying. When she cries, when she gets emotional, it is not forced. So many of these islanders, when they try to cry, no tears come out of their eyes. But when it comes to Siannise, her tears are coming out. She's emotional, she's crying, gets us emotional as an audience. We love to see people cry and be themselves. And again, this helped us to fall in love with Siannise. And this is what I absolutely like. And I feel like I had to do a podcast kind of video discussion on this particular matter so that we can really discuss this and talk about it, because now I want them to win. And now they have to win. I do not want Paige and Finley to win, because I genuinely do feel like they are very bland. They have no charismatic appeal when it comes to, the audience. But Siannise and Luke T, they have that character. They have that volume. They have that depth. They have morals. They have integrity. They have their values. And when it comes to the date, how they ask each other out, even to be boyfriend and girlfriend with the Disney themed related stuff, as Siannise has expressed that she loves her Disney related stuff, was amazing. And the date that they recently had on this latest episode was really cute. It was just nice. They expressed that they love each other. They used the word, the L word, and I feel like it's only upwards for Siannise, and she is definitely guaranteed a final spot. That's definitely taking place. If it is not, I'm going to be absolutely irritated, but that definitely is. But also she would at least come second minimum. Siannise and Luke T. Now Luke T, again, is somebody that I massively underestimated. I did not expect him to go this far when it comes to the show, but he definitely has. I'm very proud. But I just really wanted to dive deep into Siannise, give you guys really a analytical kind of approach when it comes to this, to outline the dynamic kind of perspectives of what has taken place and why we have literally changed when it comes to our approach to Siannise, and how the nation really disliked her, and how we have now fallen in love with her to the point that we are now campaigning for her to win. She was fortunate enough to have a long time to change her narrative. Other individuals like Leanne, we could have wanted her to win. For all we know, she could have changed her narrative. Somebody could have came in for her. That did not take place. Or for Sophie, etc., etc. But when it comes to Siannise, just to go from the most hated to the most loved was something that I don't think a lot of people expected. It's roughly similar to Amber to an extent, and the reason why I say that is because in the first week nobody liked Amber because she was quite rude and quite brutal, not to the extent of Siannise, but she was just rude. And now obviously everybody loved her, but she went through her own trials and tribulations when it came to the show. Siannise obviously had a different pathway, but I do feel like Siannise was, you know, a very good casting, whether we liked her or disliked her, because she gave us that drama, she gave us that interest, that appeal, and she was just herself throughout the whole competition, you know. And I just feel like she was a beautiful casting, probably one of the best, I believe, top 3 for me personally. And I definitely now want her to take that crown, and her and Luke T are going to be the winners of this particular season. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this whole kind of, you know, approach, this kind of podcast related YouTube video-esque both type of episode. When it comes to this, do you guys feel like I missed out on any points? Do you guys feel like I've hit the nail on the head? The points that I've, you know, really highlighted when it comes to the development of this girl is that beef with Rebecca, as we also disliked Rebecca and she stood up for herself and we really loved it, number 1. Number 2, she gave us the drama, which we really liked. Number 3, she was a meme queen. The phrases that she has and the way she talks, like, it was just absolutely funny as hell. Number 4, the whole situation with Luke T and how those two, you know, got on so well, the awkward personalities, the banter, the humor. It was cute to see how it all developed, which we really liked. Number 5, we have the fact that she was very supportive of everybody else, like Luke M, when they were going down the drain, or, you know, they were in upset moods. She was there to stand up for them. And number 6, when we as an audience thought things weren't right, she was one of the very few ones to stand up and say it out, which induced the relatability for us as an audience. These were, I feel like, the main sectors and points that helped to induce this kind of development and change for Siannise, and I'm so glad that she has. Well, let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this particular podcast. Did you guys enjoy this quick 15 to 20 minute related, you know, topics at hand here? Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it so much, and I'll catch you guys for the next daily podcast.